Did Carol Baskin actually sue Netflix? What all was revealed at Disney Plus Day? And where does Marvel's Eternals rank on my MCU movie list? Well, I talk about all that and more on this episode of the Toddcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Toddcast, a podcast where all your dreams come true, whether you want them to or not. As always, I'm your host, Todd McManus, and a lot of stuff has been released this week. Go ahead and get into it a little bit. I'm going to be going ahead and talking about the Eternals, the Marvel movie that came out last week, Marvel's Eternals. Me and a friend of mine, John, you may know, he was actually a 5-time guest on the Toddcast. And me and him went and saw it last week. And I'm going to be giving my official review for Eternals. At the end of the episode, right before the questions and the drink review, I will be doing a spoiler review for Marvel's Eternals. And of course, I will be giving a spoiler warning once we get closer to that. But we're going to go ahead and get into some news right now. Everybody's favorite Tiger aficionado, if you will. Everyone's favorite Tiger aficionado, Carol Baskin. You may have heard this in the intro earlier. Carol Baskin indeed tried to sue Netflix. Now, the reason she wanted to sue Netflix was because the way she was portrayed, and of course, season 2 of Tiger King is coming out. I don't remember. I think it's either next month or the beginning of 2022. Because there's more to tell of the story, apparently. I thought that Joe Exotic being locked in prison was the end of that story. But the more of it, they come out with a trailer not too long ago. And apparently she thought that she was seen and portrayed as the villain of season 2 of Tiger King. And, well, I mean, if you can notice it, what do you think we're seeing, Carol? So she tried to sue Netflix for that fact, and she did not win that. It was denied. Because she wanted it, season 2 to never come out. Because she signed the contract saying it's okay for them to do whatever they wanted with season 1, but I don't think they did that with season 2 because of this is older footage and footage they didn't put in season 1 and stuff they're reusing from season 1 in season 2, that kind of stuff. And she sued them for that, and Netflix was like, "Nah, you're not doing that to us. We're Netflix. You can't win against us." So yeah, I'm somewhat excited for season 2 of Tiger King. I don't really know what to expect, but we're gonna get whatever we get and hope for the best, with whatever we receive from Netflix. So I don't exactly know the date for that. You can Google it if you want. I'm not going to. I don't know why. I already got everything else done, though. So season 2 of Tiger King coming out soon enough in the next couple of months, probably. So. Also, on the Netflix side of things, the movie Red Notice premiered on Netflix yesterday for all of you. If you're listening to this on the Saturday it comes out, I am recording this on Friday, November the 12th, the day before this episode comes out on Saturday. So Red Notice, for me, Red Notice came out today. I haven't watched it yet because this is being recorded 2 in the afternoon. I haven't watched it yet. I will watch it. It is a movie with The Rock teaming up with Ryan Reynolds, and the bad guy is Gal Gadot. And if you don't exactly know who Gal Gadot is, recognize the name, she is Wonder Woman. And then, of course, everybody knows The Rock and Ryan Reynolds. So this is full-on big-name actors and actress movie with these 3 people. So it's going to be good. I mean, it's on Netflix now. For all of you listening, it is available now on Netflix. If you haven't watched it yet, you should definitely check it out. I'm going to watch it, and I'll probably give y'all some feedback in the next week or two of what that movie, if the movie is good or not. So yeah, I just haven't watched it yet. So this is the biggest thing I've got to talk about today. The reason, for all of you listening at home, if you don't know this fact about me and the Toddcast, is that normally I record episodes that are just me, like this episode you're listening to, usually on Thursdays. Just because I record it on a Thursday, I'll get it done and ready for Saturday, and that gives me Friday off. And if anything's wrong or I need to go back and redo something, I have the entirety of Friday to do that. And the reason I did not do that this week is because this past Friday, or for yesterday for y'all, which is today for me, on Friday the 12th was Disney Plus Day. And this was announced about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I talked about it 2 weeks ago, that there was going to be a Disney Plus Day where they were going to announce more stuff coming to Disney Plus. Also, Shang-Chi, the Marvel movie, is now available on Disney Plus to watch, as is Jungle Cruise, the movie starring The Rock and Emily Blunt. The Rock's in just everything. He has a movie coming out on Disney Plus today. He has a movie coming out on Disney Plus and Netflix on the same exact day. Of course, Jungle Cruise came out months ago in theaters, but it's so weird to me that this guy, The Rock, he has 2 movies going to 2 different streaming services on the same exact day on Friday, November the 12th, with Red Notice on Netflix and Jungle Cruise on Disney Plus. And then before you know it, he'll be over on the HBO Max, because next year he's coming out with Black Adam, and then that'll be in theaters but go to Max like a few months afterwards. So he's just everywhere. It's just The Rock is truly taking over. But also with Disney Plus Day, they released some other stuff. I don't really know what else they put out on Disney Plus. I just pay attention to the Marvel, and mainly I only pay attention to the Marvel stuff, the Star Wars stuff, and anything else that's big name, like Jungle Cruise, or anything like mainstream Disney like that that's really big. But the main reason is because they announced more series and exclusives coming to Disney Plus for Marvel and Star Wars. And a lot of us were hoping for like a trailer or just a little bit of a little look-ski, if you will, into like the Kenobi show, or any update on season 3 of The Mandalorian, because it is currently filming, or the Ahsoka series, or anything like that. And then with Marvel as well, I mean, we have Hawkeye coming out November 24th. But when are we getting Miss Marvel? When are we getting Moon Knight? When are we getting She-Hulk? And then what comes after that? Because normally Disney likes to announce things, 2 to 3 years in advance. They do with movies, because they only have 4 or 5 movies a year. So they announce all the movies. Like, we already know what movies are coming out in the year 2023, but we don't know the stuff for the next year. So like maybe one day next month in December, they'll be announcing stuff like that whenever it comes to another, I think it's like Disney Investors Day is what that's called. Because that's what they announced. That's what the day they announced last year, whenever Kathleen Kennedy, the president of is it Lucasfilm? Yeah. Or LucasArts, one of those. She's in charge of Star Wars, basically, at Disney. And she was the one who announced the Kenobi show and the Ahsoka series and all of that Star Wars stuff last year. And then Kevin Feige, of course, the president of Marvel, comes out and he's like, hey, we're making a Fantastic Four movie. We're going to bring in the X-Men at some point. So that's what Disney Investor Day is, but that's like in the 1st or 2nd week of December, I think. Around that time, like in about a month, close enough, in a month's time, they have Disney Investor Day, and they've been releasing like Disney stuff every week, kind of, whether it be Marvel or Star Wars stuff. And they did announce that, they didn't announce this today, they announced like a month ago that I think the 1st week of December, they're going to announce a Star Wars game that we don't know about yet. So, I mean, anything that's Star Wars or Marvel, whether it be movies, games, or series, that is right up my alley. That is my thing, you know what I'm saying? So, with Disney Plus Day coming out, or happening today for me, of course, all the things that we know, just a little bit of a rundown, is, and I'm going to be talking about Marvel and Star Wars stuff a lot for the next like 30 minutes. And then after that, I got to review Eternals. So, so just a little bit of a reminder for all of you. There's so much stuff still coming out. We're not even halfway through November yet, and we still have like a month and a half left of this year. But there's still so much stuff, not only with Disney, but with other like Netflix and HBO Max and all these other streaming services and movies that are coming out as well. There's still a lot of stuff coming out. Like, we still have the Matrix movie, which is the fourth Matrix movie. I think it's Resurrections. It comes out in December, and it's one of those that's on HBO Max the same day for 30 days, you know? And then The Witcher Season 2 premieres on Netflix in December. We have the Hawkeye Marvel series premiering on Disney Plus on November 24th, the day before Thanksgiving, and it's 2-episode premiere. It is going to be premiering with those 2 episodes on the first day, and then I guess it's going to be one every Wednesday after that. And then, of course, December 17th is, of course, Spider-Man No Way Home, which is the most anticipated movie of the entire year, no doubt. And then after that, Marvel is done for a while, because the next Marvel movie that comes out is the Doctor Strange movie in May. And shifting gears to stay with Disney, but on Star Wars stuff, the only thing we have left for Star Wars this year is the Book of Boba Fett, which will be premiering December 29th, the day before New Year's Eve. Right? No, the day before New. You understand what I'm saying. It's December 29th. Because New Year's Eve is the 31st, and then you get that's a Friday. And then the 30th is Thursday, and the 29th is that Wednesday. So basically, the Wednesday between Christmas and New Year's is when the Book of Boba Fett is premiering on Disney Plus. And this season, or this series, will follow, as of right now, all I know is that it'll follow Boba Fett's story after we have encountered him in season 2 of The Mandalorian. And maybe it might show what happened after he got eaten by the Sarlacc pit in episode 6 of Star Wars, because Mandalorian's time period, it takes place after that, after the Empire was defeated and Darth Vader's dead and Luke Skywalker, he's the big hot shot right now. This takes place I feel like a few years. I think it was like 5 years maybe. Like, the Empire is still there, but the Emperor is quote unquote dead. And Darth Vader, he's definitely dead, because he died and they burned his body. And then Anakin became a Force ghost. So I feel like they have a good spot with Boba Fett right now to bringing him this character back, and now having a series dedicated to him, because he's such a cool character. If you watched any of the Clone Wars series with him as like a younger kid. And basically, his story started in episode 2, whenever his father, Jango Fett, was killed by Mace Windu. Also, a big prediction is that what if we get an older Mace Windu in the Book of Boba Fett? And like, that's who he's hunting down. He's finally going to hunt down the Jedi who killed his father. So, a lot of interesting things that can happen from this show. So, with all that being said, that's all the stuff we know as of right now for the rest of this year is the Hawkeye series, the Spider-Man movie, and then the Boba Fett series. And then the next thing from Marvel movie-related that I know of is the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness movie coming out in May. So we got Star Wars series of Book of Boba Fett to tie us down, ending December, going into January. I don't know how long that's going to be. Probably towards the end of January and beginning of February is when that'll end. And then I think we'll get Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, something around that area of spring, going in from winter to spring of 2022, to help us to stay watching something, because Disney's in a really good position right now they're pumping out so many movies and so many shows. Like, they haven't pumped out a Star Wars movie since the last one, which was episode 9, which came out in December of 2019. And we're just about to and that's been almost 2 years now. because that movie came out right before COVID happened. And they're trying. I feel like they're trying to decide what movie they want to make next, because that's kind of a done deal with episodes 1 through 9. Of course, 7, 8, 9 kind of blowed, like they weren't that good of movies. They did really well because it's a Star Wars movie, but story wise, it could have been better, in my opinion. I mean, I liked it just because it was the action scenes and it was cool and like, whoa, lightsabers, man, like that kind of stuff. But the story could have been so much better with them 3 movies. Like Luke didn't have to die in The Last Jedi. That was just kind of stupid. But anyway, Disney, what I'm saying is basically that Disney's in such a good position with Marvel and Star Wars right now that they're filming so much crap, and they're also doing animated Marvel series, so therefore all you need is the voiceover of the actor or actress in the show, and then just animate it and just have the animators and editors work on that part, where you don't have to constantly keep filming something, you know. So you have so much stuff. And if you have like 6 series and 4 movies just from Marvel coming out in 1 year, that's good enough, because in those gaps in between when one series is done and in 3 or 4 months another series begins, you just fill those gaps with Star Wars. So it's just a year is basically just this giant puzzle that Disney is just filling full of, like, okay, Marvel is this piece is Marvel, we're going to put Star Wars fits perfectly in between these 2 Marvel pieces. Like, that's basically what Disney is doing right now, because they're playing chess and we're thinking we're playing checkers. Like, they're I don't know, like it's very puzzle-esque, if you will, that they're trying to do this type of thing with Marvel and Star Wars, because we're still waiting to see what the next Star Wars movie will be. There's one made by Taika Waititi, who was the director of Thor Ragnarok and the next Thor movie, and he's doing a Star Wars movie. And then there's, I forget her name, this director, what was her name? Was she the one who did Wonder Woman? I don't know. She is making her own Star Wars movie, and it's called Rogue Squadron, which is about like the pilots of the rebellion, I think, of during the episodes 4 through 6. So, of the original trilogy. So, with all of that being said, I wanted to talk a little bit about what was announced this year, or today, at if I can find it. I had it on my phone. Let's see what we got here. Everything announced from Disney Plus Day 2021. Here we go. So, we can go ahead and start off with Star Wars, I guess. They wanted to, with the big one, of course, the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. A lot of people have been anticipating this. This is honestly the most anticipated thing Star Wars has done in a long time. If, for those of you that don't know, Obi-Wan Kenobi at the end of episode 3 went into hiding and had to hide from the Empire because, of course, he was one of the bigger name Jedi that were still alive after Order 66 happened. And he, of course, turned into Ben Kenobi in episode 4, where he taught Luke how to wield a lightsaber and trust in the Force and all that. And then Darth Vader killed him. And so that's like 30 years or like 20 to this. I think it's 30 years around there. It's like around 30 years in between episode 3 and 4. This is just gigantic gap from when the Empire took over to when the rebellion started and the first Death Star blew up. That's where this series is taking place, and it's going to follow Kenobi. And they didn't show a trailer, which is disappointing. As a fan, it's disappointing. But they revealed some, it's called a behind-the-scenes featurette, which is basically just concept art, just put into like a PowerPoint video, that they're showing concept art of the show, of what they want it to be. And the show comes out next year, but we don't know a day yet. And apparently, it showed like Kenobi and like some cloth stuff, and he's in the desert of like Tatooine. He's hiding out different places. And they also showed concept art pictures of Darth Vader. And then at one point, it's just exciting. There is a concept art piece that at some point in this show, we will have Obi-Wan Kenobi back at it again, one-on-one with Darth Vader. Now, of course, we all remember when they fought in episode 4, and it sucked because it was the first Star Wars movie, A New Hope, where they just touched lightsabers and then he died. Well, this one is going to be, it's you can call it a rematch, but this technically takes place first in the chronological order. But we are probably going to get an actual lightsaber duel between Kenobi and Vader, which is so weird to say. Just the thought of thinking, we are quite possibly going to see probably one of the best live-action lightsaber duels ever. Because the best, without a doubt, is Kenobi and Anakin in episode 3. On Mustafar. That is the best lightsaber duel ever. And if you've never seen it, it's so awesome because it also happens at the same time as that duel between Yoda and the Emperor happened back at the council, the Jedi Council building on Coruscant. And it's so... Obi-Wan and Anakin had such a good battle. It was so well choreographed. It's so awesome. You bite on it every second of it. It's got such good music to it. It's so you're just feeling it. It's so good. And if we're gonna get that again, but instead of Anakin, he's just upgraded to Vader. Good Lord, and we're getting full on Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, who is such a fan favorite, and people love him. I like Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he's probably my favorite Jedi. But God, people go crazy for Kenobi, because he's so good, and he was such a good character in the Clone Wars. That show was just built around him and Anakin, and their bromance, of course. So, yeah, that was probably the most important thing that a lot of people were waiting on, was that, are we going to see a trailer? Because I don't know if this series is officially done or it's in post already, but it's not fully watchable yet, basically. They can't put it out now because it's not all the way 100% done, but it's getting there. I think filming might be done, but the editing is not, because it just says it's streaming in 2022, so at some point next year, we will be seeing the Obi-Wan Kenobi series that we have been asking for years. And finally, they were finally going to get to do it. I think it was Star Wars or Disney didn't want to do it at first. And they saw everybody was like, if you put this out, everybody's going to watch it. It's going to be the biggest thing that's going to happen, It's going to be so good. I already love the show, and I haven't seen anything but some pictures. So yeah. Also... I think that's all they announced for Star Wars, honestly. They really didn't do anything with Star Wars. But I'm just scrolling down. This is from IGN.com. This is Disney Plus Day 2021. Everything announced. And yeah. So under that, also that I talked about, Shang-Chi and Jungle Cruise are available on Disney Plus already, and a bunch of other stuff. Like the movie Home Sweet Home Alone, which is a reboot of the old school Home Alone movie. Season 2, episodes 1 through 5 of The World According to Jeff Goldblum is on Disney Plus now. I never watched it, but it's so weird. Yeah. So I wanted to go ahead and let's talk about the Marvel stuff, because that's what we're all here to see, right? That's what we all want to see. Where was that picture at? Let me look up real quick. They showed first look, which is not a trailer, but a picture, not concept art, but just showing what a picture just from the show, from the actual production of the show, you know what I'm saying? I know they showed... They didn't show anything for Hawkeye because that show's just done. Like, I'm like, it's done. It really is. So, the first thing they announced was Miss Marvel. Okay, here we go. So they announced Miss Marvel, and I don't really know much about her, honestly. She's an interesting character, and I don't know much about her other than there was an Avengers game that came out not too long ago, and she can like stretch out like Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four. And here we go. I found this. So Miss Marvel will be coming out some point in 2022. We don't know what day yet, as fans, us, you know. But yeah, they just showed, like, I think they showed a picture of, like, her, of the actress playing her, and that's about it. And that was it. So, they also showed a picture of Moon Knight, who is played by Oscar Isaac. He is the actor who played Poe Dameron in the latest Star Wars trilogy, episodes 7 through 9. He also played, I forget his name, he played the father in Dune. Spoiler, he got killed, but that happened in the first movie, or the old movie anyway. But he played that guy in Dune. He was also Poe Dameron in Star Wars. He is Moon Knight. And then they also showed us a picture of She-Hulk. And I don't remember who was playing that character. But there is a character by the name of She-Hulk, which is basically a female version of the Hulk. She's not like just huge like the Hulk is. She's just like really tall, green, and just jacked. And that's about it. And that's She-Hulk. Yeah, so Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, and She-Hulk, we already knew about those. Those are live action shows. Those are not animated. And then they announced some more stuff. So let's go ahead and get into this a little bit. So they announced this show by the name of, let me get this name right, Agatha, House of Harkness. This is a show about Agatha Harkness, she was the witch who went against Wanda in WandaVision, who like fed into her fake belief of the town and made it all fake and all that from the Marvel show WandaVision. Agatha was the villain of that show. She was the next door neighbor. If you watch this show, that's who she was. So they're making a show about her. Same actress, Kathryn Hahn, is going to be playing Agatha again. I guess it's going to take place before. I don't really know what it's going to be about, I guess. It's just going to be a show about her. I'll watch it, but whatever. They also announced a show in which they gave a new look, basically, to the Marvel show I Am Groot, which is a show about Groot. And I don't really know what it's going to be about. I mean, it's going to be about Groot. What am I saying? Duh. So it's a show about Groot. I don't know. I'm thinking it's going to be about Groot before the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, back when he was just a tree person. Because, like, in the lore of Groot's people, like, he is the only one left. Like, his entire race of the tree people are dead. So it could show how that happened, and then how he met Rocket Raccoon, and they became a duo before Guardians. So we'll just see what happens then. They gave us a new look at Ironheart, which is a Marvel series that is, I don't really know what it's about. It is, the actress name is Dominique Thorne, and she is playing the character Riri Williams. And she is a genius inventor who creates the most advanced suit of armor since the death of Iron Man. Okay. So she's not really like taking Iron Man's place, but she's filling that hole of the void that was left when Iron Man, Tony Stark, is dead now. She is going to be taking that place of like the smart one in the group. The one who's there to create the armor and discover new stuff and all that kind of stuff. That's basically what Ironheart is going to be. Also, they gave us a new look at Secret Invasion, which the comic is going to probably be different. There was a Marvel comic book series called Secret Invasion that came out a couple years ago that was about the Skrulls invaded Earth, and they are shapeshifters, and they make themselves look like Avengers, and then they did stuff, and then stuff happened, and I don't really know. It was around Civil War, too. But there's a show called Secret Invasion that's going to be happening. Samuel Jackson will be returning as Nick Fury in that show, as well as, I don't remember his name, but he was the main Skrull who acted like his boss. And then Emilia Clarke is going to be in that show as well. She was the queen, whatever her name is, the Dragon Queen from Game of Thrones. So it's going to be interesting seeing her in a Marvel movie too, or a Marvel series as well. So that was all the stuff that we have new looks and first looks of series we already know about. So the new stuff that was announced is, first off, I'll just go ahead and say they have officially announced that What If Season 2 will most likely be coming next year. Of course, we already knew that. They wanted to go ahead and say that. It wasn't officially announced, but they just went ahead and said it, of course, that What If Season 2 might happen next year or probably later next year at some point, you know. Also, they announced a new show called Echo. I don't know who that is. I don't know who Echo is. Echo is a character, Marvel character. That's all I know. It's Maya Lopez is the character's name, who is, I guess, going to be Echo. So I don't really know. So that's just something to watch out for. There is a Marvel show called Echo now. They announced a new animated show called Marvel Zombies. That is correct. They are now officially doing a zombies series in the Marvel Universe on Disney Plus. That's going to be good. Like, if it follows that reality of the multiverse on season 1 of What If, where they went to when they showed the episode of the zombie universe, I think that'll be really good for them to do. That's all I'm really thinking that's going to happen. And it's animated, so it'll be good as well. Get another animated show in there. Also, they announced a new show called Spider-Man Freshman Year. This is also going to be a animated show, I think. Is it? I think it is. Yeah, it's an animated series about Tom Holland's Peter Parker Spider-Man, on how he on his way to becoming Spider-Man. So it's going to be basically what was Spider-Man doing before the Homecoming movie came out. Like, what was he doing before that and before Civil War? Like, who was Spider-Man and how he came to be in the MCU. So, and that's an animated series coming soon as well. Then also, which is really weird that they announced this. I don't know why they decided to do this, but they announced this for the year 2023, that X-Men 97 is coming to Disney Plus. And I don't really know why. It is an animated series back in the 90s. It was the X-Men show that apparently was really good. I never watched it, but I probably should now. It was an X-Men series that happened in the 90s that a lot of people back then watched, I guess, because it was a cartoon, an animated show. They decided that they're going to do a new season of that, like I think it was only 2 seasons. They decided to redo it, and they're going to have a 3rd season that is going to be, it says right here, an animated series from Marvel Studios explores new series in the iconic 90s timeline of the original series. So they're sticking with this show taking place in the 90s, and I mean, I'm anticipating it now. Like I definitely need. That's the series. Is that the one on the meme that everybody sees? The meme of Wolverine when he's laying on the bed with the picture and he's looking, and then the next picture under that meme is whatever he's looking at, and he's like, "I miss him so much." You know what I'm saying? That meant the Wolverine meme. Yeah, I think that is from this show. What an iconic show. I mean, that's probably why it's being brought back, because so many people probably wanted to watch it from that meme, which is what I should do, honestly. I should definitely watch this show, but so yeah, that's really all that was announced. Is basically they just said, hey, this stuff is still happening and we have more stuff now. So with Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, and She-Hulk look like they're going to all premiere next year in 2022. I think What If Season 2 might premiere next year as well. And then X-Men 97 will be in 2023. And then everything else, I don't know exactly. I don't know if they've filmed any of it yet or if they're still writing some of it. I don't honestly know what's going to happen. So yeah, it'll still be interesting whatever they decide actually happens. So that was all the stuff that was revealed today on Disney Plus Day. Of course, don't forget we still have stuff coming out this year with the Hawkeye series, the Spider-Man movie, and of course the Book of Boba Fett will be rounding out the year. So yeah. So it is now time for my official Marvel Eternals review. I will be reviewing the Eternals movie with spoilers. So if you have not, and I know this movie came out last week, but I'm giving a heavy spoiler review, or spoiler warning, I should say, because this is going to be a spoiler review. If you have not watched Marvel's Eternals and you want to watch it and not get spoiled to it, you should stop this right now, speed it up about 10 to 15 minutes or so. I probably won't talk about it that much. And I mean, I'll talk about it a little bit because of stuff that happened. But if you don't want to get spoiled to it, speed this up about 10 to 12 minutes, and then I will go into questions after that. So, spoiler warning to all of you. You have been warned officially, because I am now about to talk about the Eternals movie. All right. Now that everybody's gone. Can you believe that they brought Iron Man back to life? No, that didn't happen. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that. Too soon. You know what I'm saying? So, first off, I will say this movie is not as bad as the critics say it is. Just a little rundown of it. I thought it was good. Honestly, it had very well done CG. Like, honestly, the animation, because it's a live action movie, but like the CG and the green screen work and all that stuff that they did in this movie is awesome. Like, I won't be surprised if this movie wins like an Oscar or something for like best, it's not CG, but like best effects or something like that. Because this movie is awesome like that. It looks pretty. It's a good movie in my opinion. Not great, but it's good. But God, is it long. It's like 2.5 hours. And I have nothing with a 2.5 hour movie. I watched Avengers Endgame in theaters, and that movie was 3 hours long. If Spider-Man No Way Home is 3.5 hours long, I will crap my pants in the theater because I will not want to get up out of the seat to go to the bathroom. So, because that's that kind of movie. If you know what's going to happen, you have some idea, you're going to watch all of it. With Eternals, I had no clue who these people were, and to be honest, I still don't have a clue who over half of them are. So, I don't remember their names. I remember Richard Madden, he's an actor. He played Robb Stark in Game of Thrones. He was Icarus, and he was the Superman character who could fly, he had good strength, and he shot yellow lasers out of his eyes. Yeah, and I remember him, and then Selma Hayek was Ajax, which also, I already said spoiler warning, so that's good. But Ajax, who is Selma Hayek, I don't know why she died so early off in the movie. Like, I mean, it makes sense for the story, but she died so, like, 15 minutes in. And I can understand why people would think this movie is slow, because God, is it slow, and a lot of talking, which honestly, there wasn't that much talking in certain parts. It was just long, and then nothing happened in like the first half of this movie, because it's a 2.5 hour movie, but they had to lay the foundation for the movie for the first hour and a half. So the last hour of this movie was the best part, because that's when you got the good fighting scenes, you got some of them turning on each other, and then you got the ending that was really good to get to the mid and end credit scene, which is what we were all trying to get to anyway, and see what happened at the end, and if anybody, Avenger or somebody showed up, you know. But good Lord, it was long, in my opinion. But yeah, me and John went and saw it last week, and I liked it. I really did. I enjoyed it. We saw it on Thursday, which was opening night. There was more people. This theater was not full, but there were more people here for this than they were for Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi was only like me, John, and 3 other people, so like 5 total in the theater. This one, I think, was like, this theater, I would say, was like a third full, so like more people, but not every seat was not filled. You could tell there was a lot of empty places too. But Eternals actually had a lot of comedic stuff in it. It was funny. And so yeah, so like whatever the critics say, you should not trust Rotten Tomatoes or anything like that. If you honestly don't want to see a movie until you see a critic or somebody else say it's good, that way you're afraid to waste your money or something. I'm not trying to be like arrogant or anything, but you should honestly just listen to me, because I will tell you whether a movie is crap or not, because I have no holds barred against movies like this, because if a movie sucks, I don't want to say, oh, well, maybe you'll like it. If a movie sucks for me, nobody's going to like it, because that's me. Like, I have a very open mind and open opinion about different movies, and I will analyze them. Like, I only saw Eternals once, and I know, like, the story. I know half the characters' names, because they were confusing characters. They weren't called, like, John and Hannah or Smith or something, you know. They weren't, like, normal people names, because they were named after, like, Olympic gods, you know. But if you ever want, if you haven't seen Eternals yet, and you aren't afraid with the spoiler warning, and you're listening to this, and you are thinking about seeing it, go see it. If you enjoy any of the Marvel movies, if you've seen them all, if you enjoy really anything about superheroes and all that kind of stuff, Eternals is a good movie to watch. It is not as low as the critics say it is. But yeah, like, I liked it. I would give it like a 7 out of 10, or if I rated it on the scale I normally do with stuff, with the drinks and all that, I would probably rate it like a 74 or like a 75, around there, because it wasn't the best, but it was a little above average. It was around average for me. It was not bad. It was not a crap movie. 10 out of 10 on the music, 10 out of 10 on the effects, but the story itself was like a 6 or so, and that's why I really have to drag it down to like a 7, mid 7, 8, around there, because it's not the best, but it's not the worst. So it's a good average Marvel movie. I do want to talk about the mid-credit scene. So the mid-credit scene, when Angelina Jolie's character and the other two, the girl who's really fast, she's the Flash, and then the guy who can control people's minds and make them do what he wants. When they were out in space in the ship, and then they were like, oh, we hear somebody walking down the hall. I was about to crap my pants if Captain Marvel showed up. Not out of excitement, but out of pure, like, why? I was crap my pants out of anguish, basically. But then, like, a portal opened and this little troll popped out. And then he was, like, drinking and all that. And then he introduced another character by the name of, what was his name? Eros or something. His actual name is Star Fox, which is way easier to remember. So this guy walks out, and his name's Star Fox, and he looks like a hero. He's got a cape. He's got the whole get-up, you know. And it's freaking Harry Styles. You know, like the singer, Harry Styles. So Harry Styles walks out, and he's Star Fox. And if you don't know who Star Fox is Thanos' brother. Harry Styles. And he doesn't look purple. He is still a white man. And he comes out of this portal, and he's supposed to be Thanos' brother. This guy who was big, bald, and purple, who tried to wipe out half of all living things in the entire universe. And this puny little white guy who is Harry Styles, which I don't know if he's puny or not, but I mean, he's kind of skinny, you know. Nothing against him. He can sing really good, you know, Watermelon Sugar High, all that kind of stuff, you know. But just putting 2 and 2 together does not equal 4 right here. It equals Y. That's what it equals. But I don't know. It's something because his character is apparently like really arrogant, but he's kind of like also like another type of Superman character. I think he'll be good. I've never really seen anything that Harry Styles has acted in, but now he's playing the character Star Fox in a Marvel movie. So that'll be interesting to see. And yeah, that's all I know about that. So the end credits scene, if you don't know the character, the actor Kit Harington played the character Jon Snow in Game of Thrones. He was in this movie and he played a guy named Dane Whitman. And if you don't know who Dane Whitman is, he is the Black Knight. In the Marvel Comics, he plays a character. His name is Black Knight. I don't really know much about him. But the end credit scene was that he was in his office and he had this really long box in there that had a sword in it. He opened it and it was this black sword that really looked nice. And apparently, John did some research for me and we talked about it. That the sword he has is a solid black sword and it's called the Ebony Sword. Now, the way it works is that, you know, whenever you try to pick up Thor's hammer, it's only those who are worthy, and to be worthy, you have to be pure of heart. Like Captain America, when he picked it up in Endgame, like in Age of Ultron, Cap couldn't pick up the hammer because he knew that Winter Soldier killed Tony Stark's parents. That's why he couldn't pick it up. Once he confessed that, after that movie happened, during Civil War, he was now pure of heart because he knew. He confessed and he is fine now. He's not done anything else wrong. And then when he picked up the hammer and held it in Endgame, he was able to hold it because he was pure of heart. The way the Ebony Sword works is the opposite. The opposite being that you have to be fully not pure. You have to be pure evil at heart to wield the Ebony Sword, which is, of course, apparently a sword that was used in olden times that was made to kill vampires. Now, he was about to touch it. You know, he was like reaching his hand out, and then the sword, like on the inside of it, had like not this black liquid, but it was like the magnetic stuff is what it looked like, and it was trying to go towards his hand, you know? Like it had like leech-looking things in it. And then right before he touched it, there was this guy behind him that said, "You sure you want to do that, Whitman?" And then that was it. And that was the end of the movie. And the movie ended. And I was like, what? And so I didn't know who it was. There were two people that me and John thought it was. It was either Kang the Conqueror or the Watcher. And we didn't know who it could have been out of those two. But the next day, I was on social media. I think I was on Instagram. And they had an interview with the director, Chloe Zhao. And she announced who that guy was in the end credit scene. And the guy who talked with Jon Snow's Black Knight in the end credit scene is Blade. And I'm like, what? Because it's already been announced that Mahershala Ali, the actor, he's going to be playing Blade when he comes into the MCU. But we have Blade has officially been introduced. His voice, anyway, has been introduced in a Marvel movie at the end of Eternals. So apparently we might get the Black Knight and Blade to team up at some point, and that is huge. So yeah, that's basically it. I like the movie. If you want to watch it, you should go watch it. I watched it because I thought it would be good, and it was. It was, like I said, a pretty somewhat average movie, around a 7 out of 10, honestly. So, yeah. So now we're going to go ahead and get into some questions. We've got one question today. Since I talked a lot about Disney stuff, we have one question today. And if you ever want to submit a question for me to answer on a future episode of the Toddcast, you can go to my YouTube page. The link is down below in the description of this podcast episode. Go down below and tap or click on that link, and it'll take you to my YouTube page. Go under one of the videos, and in the comments section, just type out your question, comment it, send it, and then I will see it, and I'll be able to answer it on a future episode. So, yeah. So this question is as follows. It's not a would you rather question, surprisingly. So, the question I got today is, what is a criminally underrated game? That's interesting. Thank you for this question. That is a good question, honestly. Criminally underrated. Most of the games I played are normally rated or overrated as well. And I have played a lot of games, honestly. There is a game that I played not too long ago. It was Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. People say that game sucks, but I like it. It's not really overrated. I think people just gave that game too much crap, honestly, because I really liked it. That was the first game I ever played in the Metal Gear series of Solid Snake. But you played Big Boss in that game. It's open world. You do a lot of crap. There's a good story. I like the story, but it's the great game creator Hideo Kojima created it, and I like it, honestly. That game's good, and anybody who says it's not never played it, so, or you never finished it anyway. It is confusing as crap. It really is. I've played that story mode at least like 3 or 4 times, honestly. It's one of the few games that I've played the story more than once. There was a game. I feel like all the games I played, they're not underrated. They're either like big games like Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto, or they're games that just nobody's ever heard of. I don't know if you can count that as underrated or just not heard of. You know what I'm saying? Like, not well marketed. There is a game called Ark that I'm currently playing. I feel like a lot of people just don't play it because it takes so much time. It takes hours and hours and hours to actually do. There was a game called End War made by Tom Clancy, and I played that game a lot back in the day when I was a kid. It was a game about World War III. It was originally made to be on computer, but I played it on PS3, and it was really good. I played a game called Ruse. It was a World War II game. It was like a strategy game. It was also meant for PC, but I played it on PS3. I love that game. That's one of my favorite games ever. So is End War. Mercenaries. Honestly, the Mercenaries series in itself is fully underrated. That game, those 2 games are great, and they should have made a third. The first Mercenaries was on PlayStation 2, and I played the crap out of that game. It was so weird. I can't even explain it, because it's like North Korea goes to war with South Korea or the rest of the world, and you can pick who do you want to protect. But it's open world, so it's like you can run around and stuff as your character, and you get a lot of different guns to shoot and all that stuff. And it's like there's the Allies, the South Koreans, the Russians and the Chinese, and then you have North Korea. But North Korea in the game is always the bad guys. But you can like form an alliance with all 4 of the others. But you can like go into like the Russians' base and just kill anybody you want to, and then your like notoriety goes down. So it's like you become a bad guy to them. So that means they'll shoot you on sight. But then you can like go to them and do like a mission for them, and you'll be good with them again. So it's like they did that the same thing with Mercenaries 2. And it took place in like the Caribbean, and instead of was the Russians in that? I don't think the Russians were there. It wasn't the Russians anymore. It was pirates. Is who it was. It was the pirates, and I played a lot of that game as well. Which the ending of that game was weird, because the ending ended up turning like allies against the Chinese because they never liked each other. And then you had to choose at the end is like, okay, do you want to nuke the Chinese base or the Allies base? And the Allies is the U.S. And if you nuke it, no matter how much you play after that, you can't go to that base anymore because it's radioactive. And if you go in that radiation zone, you die. But yeah, those 2 games honestly were really fun. And I played a lot of those as a kid and an early teenager, and those 2 games are great. And I don't see why. I think they said Mercenaries 3 was in the works, but then LucasArts, who made it, was bought by Disney, and they stopped. They just dropped it, and they didn't want to make it again because they were like, we're not going to be able to make it, because apparently 2 didn't do as good as the first one. So they're like, well, we're not going to make a third one if it's going to be crap too, if nobody's going to buy it. I honestly think they should make a third one. The characters you can pick from are really good as well, but that's my answers, honestly. Like, I can't really think of anything else, because all the other games I've played are like mainstream games like Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto or Minecraft or Battlefield. So it's like there are little games that I've played that are, I would not consider them underrated. I just consider them not out there well enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't say a movie or a game or whatever is underrated if nobody knows about it. Like, I don't think I can just justify that, you know. So yeah. So that's my answers to that. And thank you for that question. So now it is time for the official drink review. I have got 3 drinks that I'm going to be reviewing today. And good Lord, I am going to have a heart attack because it's 3 energy drinks. I don't remember where these are from. I think they're from Walmart, honestly. My sister, shout out, got these for me. I've got 3 right in front of me right now. 3 different flavors. Well, I say that, but I don't honestly know if they are 3 different flavors or not. They look cool. I really like the cans. They all are in cans, of course. And, I mean, I haven't tried them yet. I've never even heard of them until my sister brought them in. And it's called Bucked Up Energy. Now, you heard me right. I did not say effed up energy. It is bucked up with a B, like a buck, like a deer, you know. And the cans are these solid black cans with this buck on the front with the antlers. And I have a blue one, a red one, and an American one. This is what I like to say because it's the American flag. So I don't really know which ones I want to try first. There is Blue Raz, Blood Raz, and then Rocket Pop. Rocket Pop is the American one. And then the blue is the blue, and the blood is the red one. I guess I'll just go down the line. Oh, sorry, I had to stretch. I'll go down the line. Let's try Blue Raz first. Oh, you hear that? Hold on, here, listen to it. God, it's loud. It's just a little bit taller than your normal can. It has no sugar, so it's probably going to taste like crap. But it's apparently an energy drink. Made in the U.S., so I might die. But here we go. So, Bucked Up Energy. Let's try the Blue Raz flavor right now. Oh, energy drink. It smells amazing, though. I apologize if you can hear me drinking. That's not bad. As of right now, I still say that the Rick and Morty Rick energy drink is the best tasting energy drink ever. That's not that bad. On the scale from 0 to 100, no decimals, Blue Raz is going to get a solid 72. That is not that bad, honestly. I would drink that again, but I wouldn't probably seek it out. So, let's try the Blood Raz flavor. Blood Raz, which is just red. I don't know if it's going to be the same thing, but just a red color or something, you know. But, okay. We're just fizzing everywhere. So, yeah. Blood Raz. Let's go ahead and give it a try. Let's just see how it is. Of course, also 0 sugar. Oh. Smells different. Okay, let's give it a try. Jesus, man. Oh. It's got that energy drink feel. Like all energy drinks have the same thing when you take that first sip and it's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? It's not as much flavor as the blue one. Like the Blue Raz was like, boom, energy drink. And the blood one is like, we're an energy drink too. So, excuse me. Not bad, but honestly not a lot there to work with. I'm just going to give you a 68. Good. Wouldn't seek it out again. But if I was giving it, I would not deny it. It's not bad. The only reason it got kind of a low score with a 68 is only because it's not a lot to work with. If you want an energy drink that has not much flavor at all, you should get the Blood Raz Bucked Up Energy because it's the one for people who just want energy and not flavor or something. So, last one we got is Rocket Pop, which is the American one. Go ahead and pop that top. Oh, yeah. So, Rocket Pop, Tennessee. Smells good. It smells like cotton candy. Let's give it a try. Man, drinking that just makes me want to stand up and sing the national anthem. Oh, say can you see? So, honestly, that was better than the Blue Raz one for me. It had not as much, like, punch as the energy drink has with the energy part, but a good amount of flavor. Like, this is, like, it's weird. Like, Blue Raz had too much of both. Blood had neither. And Rocket Pop has more flavor than the energy. So Rocket Pop, I'm actually going to just give you a 75 even. Because you're the best one out of the others. Because you have more flavor than energy, but you're still good. So yeah. So, if you ever see these, you can go and check out on the Toddcast Instagram at @the_Toddcast_ only on Instagram, of course, to see the picture of these 3 energy drinks. And if you want to try them, go ahead and give them a try. I honestly somewhat recommend it. I mean, I'm not going to say don't get it, but I mean, if you want an energy drink and if you're looking for something, whether you're working out or working or doing whatever, and you might want an energy drink, try these out. They're actually pretty good. And they're manufactured in the United States too. So there you go. So that ends up with Blood Raz, the red one, being a 68, Blue Raz with a 72, and Rocket Pop with a 75. So I think that's going to do it for this week. As always, please rate and subscribe. And if you're listening on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe, and click that bell to get notified when new videos are uploaded. And make sure you follow the Toddcast on Instagram at _Toddcast_ on Instagram for all your updates and pictures and everything. And make sure you tell your friends and your family to give this a listen. And thank all of you for listening to this episode. If you want to know what's going to happen next week, well, you're just going to have to tune in to find out. Only on the Toddcast.